Good morning, friends. Today we are going to discuss about interview techniques as detailed in the previous class. We understood what are the different types of interviews, in what way we have to prepare for the interview, and what are the common steps that we should always consider or take into consideration whenever we are preparing for the interview. As we all know, the students who are pursuing PGDM course, after a certain period of time, you all expect to sit for the interview process and to clear the interview processes and enter into the world of corporate. When we talk about the journey from the campus to the corporate, there are certain expectations from the corporate side. So let us understand what is it that they are looking forward, what are the common things that we should always keep in our mind whenever we are talking about the preparation for the interviews, particularly for the job interviews. So moving ahead, when we talk about the interview process, please keep this in your mind that whenever we are talking about the interview, the first thing that everybody checks is your grooming, how well you are groomed. When we talk about grooming, always remember the beautiful saying which runs and which goes like this: your first impression is a long lasting impression. Whatever you are going to present, the way you dress up, the way you communicate, the way you're going to present yourself, everything matters a lot. The way you enter into the room, the way you greet the person, the way you are going to hand over your resume or CV in front of the interview or to the people who are going to conduct your interview matters a lot. So therefore, always keep into consideration that whenever we are talking about personal grooming, it is very, very important. And when we talk about the personal grooming, it hardly takes a minute to check whether you are really looking good, decent, and are you really prepared to attend and appear for the interview process. What are the common things that we should always keep in our mind? Point number one, the way we are looking. So, for example, how do you dress up? How do you make over? How do you carry yourself? How do you present yourself in front of the people? Also, remember that the way you are going to dress matters a lot. So, please understand the importance of dressing. Don't wear anything which is very gaudy or which is sparkling or dazzling. Please remember that you are appearing for an interview process wherein your simplicity, your thoughts, your ideas must match and must get connected with the words that you are going to convey, the words that you are trying to connect with, so that the corporate people, the person whosoever is listening to you, must get connected with your voice, with your communication, than your wearing attire or the dresses or anything that you have done with. So therefore, please keep this in your mind that whenever we are talking about the personal grooming or when we talk about the personal appearances, yes, dress matters a lot, but the dress that you should wear should be good, neat, and clean. It should be tidy. It should be well ironed. It should be in it should be the perfect fit for that particular occasion. So always remember it. Carry your smile. The hair that you are going to keep, it should be the proper one. It should be properly brushed. It should be properly combed. You cannot have your hair covering your face. So always remember, even if it is a girl, and if you really want to leave your hair open, you should keep all these things in your mind, that you cannot keep it loose. If it is covering your face, it will be difficult enough for the people to focus onto your words. And even for you as a person who is communicating, will always be uh, engaged into different activities. Like you have to always keep your or push your hair back. So you should keep these things in your mind whenever you're talking about your personal grooming. Always remember, the first thing that we do is, the moment once when we enter into the room, when we are appearing for an interview process, or probably if you are conducting an interview process, you are going to offer a handshake, or person who's conducting the interview, he or she may offer a handshake. There are different kinds of handshake. Also remember that the kind of handshake that you are going to present or that you offer matters a lot. So please remember, the best one is the firm handshake. Firm handshake says that hold the person and give him the warm greeting, not to show how powerful you are, not to show that how strong and commanding you are. Also remember, even if it is the opposite gender, you should hold the hand in a proper way. You cannot give a bone crusher. You cannot hold the tip of the fingers, or you cannot hug the hand. You should always give a firm handshake. And please remember, the bone crusher or dead fish is not at all acceptable. The moment once when we are talking about dead fish, what we are trying to explain it here is, don't be shy in giving your handshake. And in case if your hand sweats a lot, if you feel that it is sweaty, carry a handkerchief. Always remember to wipe off your hands before you offer, because people hate to take a handshake or give a handshake with the person whose hands are sweaty. So please wipe it off. Always carry a handkerchief so that you can give a proper handshake to the other person to show that how confident you are, how assertive you are in your thoughts as well as in your action. Then comes the next, communication barrier. Always remember, this is one of the most important thing which every interviewee must keep into mind. You should always reach your place of interview on time. The eye contact that you're going to make should be a right one. You should answer the question in a logical way. You cannot give irrelevant answer, or you cannot bluff. Don't give wrong or fake answers. It is always appreciated that if you don't know the answer, it is accepted that yes, I don't know the answer. Can I try, or can I give something out of my mind or out of my thought? But in case if you are bluffing, in case if you give the fake statement, people will never appreciate that. Saying no wherever possible is accepted. So, for example, if somebody is asking you, will you be like working, will you get associated, even if the job description that is saying something, but what is offered is totally different. So, say no to it. Also, understand that they are testing you, they are trying to find out whether you are a mature person or not, whether you are assertive by nature or not. Because the people who are assertive, they have the gut, they have the confidence of saying yes for the positive things and saying no for the negative or even the irrelevant things. The posture that you should maintain should be the good one, should be the firm one. And finally, how do you present yourself? That is what we have started with. Your personal grooming matters a lot. It matters a lot. How do you present yourself? How do you carry your resume? How do you carry your documents? Whether you are carrying a pen or not, whether are you a person who carries a paper or a notepad or not, do you have these a couple of copies of your resume or not? These all matters a lot, and these things will always show how well prepared you are. This also shows that how well you are in managing time. This also proves that you are good at stress management and the other concepts related to the skills that are exactly required or aspired by the corporate people. Such as, for example, if you are really managing yourself and if you have the ability of managing yourself, certainly you can even manage the team in an effective way. So keep these things in your mind, that it's not just an interview where a few questions would be asked and you're going to answer those questions. Apart from the answers that you're going to answer to the questions that are asked, they also check your body language. They also judge you with your personality, the kind of persona that you're going to present in front of the interviewer. So moving ahead, when we talk about interviews, certainly everybody knows that whenever we are talking about interviews, we talk about interviews in different contexts. When we are talking about interviews here, the first thing that comes in our mind is the resume. We all are worried about our resume. Common things. You should know your basics, like how do you write your name, how do you write your email address, how do you write your mobile number, and where do you write all these. Whether you are mentioning about your skill sets or not, whether you are sharing those important, relevant information which are exactly required or needed by the interviewer to judge your candidature. So, how are you going to present your resume or CV? A basic difference between resume and CV. The people who are having good number of experience, the people who are having like a good amount of work experience, they will be presenting their curriculum vitae. Rest others, the one who are fresh or the one who are new, novice to this corporate world, the one who have just completed their graduation or post graduation and then entering into the world of corporate, they are always going to present their resume. So please remember, your resume should not be too lengthy. Don't try to stretch it unnecessarily. Many a times I have seen people They try to include irrelevant things in order to stretch their resume to 2 pages or 3 pages. That is not like, that is not at all needed, in fact. So you should always remember that your resume, though it can be short, but it should be quantitative as well as qualitative. So when you are having the quantity, how do you present that quantity? What are the ways that you're going to present? So don't you focus, if you don't focus on to certain things, like if you are not focusing on managerial skill sets that exactly are looking or are required by the corporate, if you are not looking into the responsibilities or the roles which are shared by the by the HR in the job description, or by the concerned people in their job description, if you are not trying to connect those things with the experience or with the knowledge skills that you are having, then it will be always a disconnected information. So in order to connect with the information in a right way, in order to share the information in a right way, the most important thing is you need to sit and you have to really write or chalk down all the important points that you can present in your resume. Point number one, please highlight your career objective. What is it that you are inspired to do? What is it that inspires you to opt for this particular position or the profile? And finally, how are you going to connect it? How do you see, or how do you plan, or how do you strategize to fulfill the requirement of the organization? Say, for example, if there is a profile saying sales officer, if there is a profile named as financial advisor, or if there is a profile which is calling as relationship manager. So what are the skill sets that are required? What are the job responsibilities that are there? Are you really a suitable candidate or not? And how are you going to say that, yes, you are the right candidate? For that, you have to really put certain important or relevant points in your resume. So before you appear for any of the interview process, it is always advised to check your resume, whether you have informed or whether you are sharing all the required information in the proper logical order or not. If it is in the logical order, people would love to read your resume. Otherwise, there is only one place where your resume is going to lie, that would be the bin. So therefore, in order to eliminate or in order to avoid people throwing your resume or discarding your resume or rejecting your resume, is present your information in the most logical manner. And how is it done? Do mention your career objective. Talk about your qualification. The highest qualification or the latest qualification comes on the top, followed by the previous ones. Then comes the important things that you have done. So, for example, if you have done certain life projects, if you are a part of any of the activities or any of the group, any of the event club or management of into the management of events, do mention about the roles and responsibilities that were shouldered by you, that were taken up by you, and then how did you carry ahead, how did you go ahead with all these activities. So do mention about all these things in detail. Do talk about your internship, do talk about your life project, do talk about the roles and responsibilities that were shouldered by you under the different event and under the different segment. Also, it is important to note here that when we talk about resume writing, we should also mention about our likes and interests. So what are your likes? What are your interests? What are your achievements? Certainly, when you are a student, you must have participated, or you might have participated into different events. Could be workshop, could be seminar, could be in organizing certain events for your juniors or for your seniors. So you should mention about all these under the segment achievements and accomplishment. Please remember your USP. That is, as a candidate, if you really want to sell yourself as a product, as a person who should really match, or who exactly matches the requirement of the organization, your resume is your USP. Do mention the cover letter. So, for example, if you're sharing the resume in the form of an email version, wherein you are going to share it through email to the concerned persons, your resume. So do write an effective cover letter, and then also know very well what all you have mentioned in your resume. There is a tip over here. Please remember, there are certain points which you are not going to disclose in your resume. Say, for example, if you have attended different presentations, if you have attended certain conferences, if you have attended some events wherein you have done extremely good, but you think that they are irrelevant, but they are certainly very important. So keep them in your mind, because many a times the interviewers, they do ask, tell me something that you have not mentioned in your resume. At that time, you're not going to be in a fix. You are going to definitely come up with a beautiful answer, with a beautiful statement that shows what all you have done during your course time, apart from the things that are mentioned on the resume, which is actually purely academics. All right. When I say academics, don't get confused. Don't say that it is only related to your studies and studies. It also includes co curricular and extracurricular activities. So please remember that whenever you are drafting your resume, it must have a conglomeration of curriculum, co-curriculum, and extracurriculum. So it's a combination of all the different activities and events in which you have participated. Moving to the next part. When we prepare for an interview, generally people ask what are the common things that we should always keep in our mind when we are preparing for an interview. The most important thing is the first and the most important question: introduce yourself. People believe this is a very simple question, but in fact, this is not. So the elevator speech, which is going to set the right knot between you and your thoughts and with that of the thoughts of the interviewer, is through this particular answer. So whenever you are introducing yourself, please remember, add on something, some relevant information which can really create curiosity, which can really excite the listener, or which can create anxiety to know more about you. So do share some information which talks about you, your personality, and why people should be keen to know more about your personality. Also, the next question, why should I hire you? Please remember, the answer lies in the job description. Whenever, if somebody is trying to ask you or find out whether you know about the profile, if you are really aware of the kind of job that the company is offering, the answer lies in the job description. Know the job description very well and connect the job descriptions, different descriptions that are mentioned, with your experiences. It could be related to any event, it could be related to a curriculum, it could be related to co curriculum, or it could be even related to extracurricular activities. So connect that and show them that, of course, as a corporate person, you may not have any experience or directly, or you cannot say that you are having 1 or 2 years of experience, but indirectly, probably for a month, probably during the life projects, probably during your internship, you were part of certain activities wherein you have tasted, you have experienced, you have experimented, and now you are not very smart, not very good, not perfectly fit, but yes, you do have hands-on experience of all these kind of activities. That should be connected in your answer whenever you are answering to this particular question. Tell me, why should I hire you? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Here, you need to understand that we all are blessed with certain strengths, and we all need to polish certain skills which are part of our weaknesses. So, what are your weaknesses? Please understand, whenever you are talking about strengths and weaknesses, board the story. When I say border story, make the people understand that if there is a strength or if there is a weakness, you're not born with certain strengths and weaknesses. There are strengths and weaknesses because a few which you have really honed, which you have really nurtured, which you have really tried and practiced, and then finally you call them as your strength. And there are certain points in which you yet haven't taken any step, you haven't even thought of, you are taking your time in order to curb them, in order to eliminate them, in order to get rid of them. So, of course, every one of us, we are blessed with certain strengths and weaknesses. So, identify what are your strengths, identify what are your weaknesses, what is your future course of action, what is your strategy, and how do you think that in what ways you're going to overcome those weaknesses, in what ways you have overcome the weakness, and today you call those weakness which are turned into your strength as strengths. So please board the story, create a story before letting people know just in one single line that these are my strengths. Say, for example, if you are a great communicator, instead of saying I'm a great communicator and this is my strength, make them realize that how do you consider yourself and what makes you feel What makes you realize that you are really a great communicator? That should be included in your in your communication, in your response, in your answer to the question. Tell me something about your strengths and weaknesses. And then ultimately, where do you see yourself down the line after 5 years or 10 years? Don't say that I want to see myself exactly in the same position, the position where you are, sir. This is not at all a good answer. They are trying to find out, do you know about the organizational hierarchy? Do you really know what is hierarchy and how do you fit yourself into that hierarchy? And what are the plans? What are the strategies that you are planning or that are there in your mind? How are you trying to reach up? Or how are you going to climb the ladder of success? What are your plans or what are your actions that are going to help you in order to climb the ladder of success? They want a proper answer for this. So when you are answering, instead of saying I want to become a good manager, everybody, of course, even if you are a novice, even if you are an amateur, even if you don't have any experience, you don't want to become a bad manager. Everybody wants to become a good manager. And how do you become a good manager? You have to plan, you have to strategize, and you have to implement. Without the application of your plans or strategies, there is no sense at all. So keep this in your mind that whenever you are talking about planning, whenever you are talking about implications and applications, you should identify what would be the pros, what would be the cons, how do you overcome those cons, how do you get or how do you take up those pros, and how will you reach up to the point of success. So know about the hierarchy. This is very, very important. Know about the organizational chart. What is the time limit that you will take? Let's say, for example, if you are entering as a sales executive, and in order to reach to the position of sales officer, minimum, if they it requires 2 years of experience, you should say this. You have to really present it in front of the interviewer that you know about the hierarchy, you know about the organizational chart, you also know about the effort that you have to really put in order to reach up to that ladder of success. Instead of just giving one line answer that I want to be a good manager, after 5 years, I want to see myself exactly in the same position presently where you are. So these are not the right answers. Don't give these fake or bluffing these answers in front of the interviewer. The next thing, whenever we are talking about the resume writing, always remember, this is again very, very important, and I want you all to keep this in your mind. Know what should be the first point where you are going to start. Say, for example, if you are talking about the career objective, the objective should match exactly in the same sense as it is presented, as it is showcased, as it is proven, right, for the corporate. Highlight what are the things that you're going to highlight in your resume. Say, for example, it could be related to your internship, it could be related to certain achievement, it could be related to the life project, it could be related to certain events that were organized wherein you were able to get good amount of sponsors. So you can highlight those, and highlighting that resumes part will always help you to connect your reader or to connect the viewer with your thoughts and with your action. Please remember, as I stated earlier also, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities do matter a lot. Don't get focused only on your complete curriculum. Don't say that, oh, I'm a good student, I'm a studious student, so my focus is only on my curriculum. No, that is not going to suffice your need. If you really want to say, or if you really want to prove that you are a person who is having, or who is well built, or who is matured, who can handle team pressure, everything, then that can be done only with the help of the involvement of yours into different activities. Could be curriculum, could be co-curriculum, or could be extracurricular activities. So when we talk about introduction, as I've stated all even in the previous slides, when you are talking about your introduction, please highlight what is it that you are looking for, what is it that you are exactly expecting from that particular job. Highlight your best points, connect it. This connection is going to help you to bridge the gap, to bridge this or to cross this particular session, which is called as interview, so that you can really set yourself in the right pace. Explain your own personality in the form of the story. Always love to share about you, always love to talk about your achievements, also talk about your failures and why these failures are so important and why do you consider them as so important. And then today, what are you doing in order to overcome those failures? So, how do you reach up to the success point? How are you managing that success point? Everything matters a lot. As I said, whenever you are attending this job interview, you know the interviewer is going to ask certain questions, could be structured or could be unstructured. When we say structured, similar set of questions will be asked by the interviewer to all the interviews. When we say unstructured, based on the interest, based on the answers of the interviewer will tweak the questions, will change the questions now and then. So it could be structured, it could be unstructured. So you should be able to understand the kind of interview. You should be able to understand what is it that is expected from you by the interviewer. You should also be able to answer the questions. Say, for example, the basic thing, if somebody is asking you, what is this? And if you start with, why is this? It's again a mismatch. Similarly, if somebody is asking you, why is it like this? And then if your answer is, what is it? Then again, it's a mismatch. Let me explain. What is marketing? Now, if somebody is asking you what is marketing, you cannot explain why marketing is important. Similarly, if I'm asking you why marketing is important, and if you start explaining me what is marketing, again, there's a mismatch. So keep these common questions in your mind whenever you are answering. Listen to the questions very attentively. Know what is it that the interviewer is looking forward exactly as per their expectation. Try to reach up to their expectation and set your answers. Prepare yourself, practice your interview sessions. Do a mock drill. It could be done by your own self, or it could be done with your friends, with your family members, or could be with your mentor. Also talk about your experiences at length. Do talk about your success stories. As I said, do also talk about your failures, because failures are always considered as the stepping stone for success. So you should talk about your failures. What did you learn from your failure and how did you achieve success? Where do you see yourself right now? What is it that you are expecting even for the future? So all these things matters a lot. Finally, talk about the things that can connect you with the corporate members. Say, for example, you should know about the competitors, you should know about the USP of this particular organization. You should also know about the vision and mission of the organization. Don't you remember that we were talking about interview techniques and we have said that the moment if you are sitting for any interview process, the first thing that you should do is know the company. If you know the company, certainly you are going to do wonders with your interview. If you don't know about the company and if you don't know about the profile, and if you're just talking about yourself without matching the expectations of the organization, it is not going to serve your purpose at all. Show the relevant knowledge, show the relevant information that is exactly needed and required. Say, for example, if somebody is asking you a question and if you don't know the answer, as I stated earlier, to write again, I'm repeating the same thing. Do not bluff. Don't give the fake statement. Don't give the fake answers. Don't show them that you know everything. We are human beings and we are not perfectionists. So there can be certain questions of which you may not be knowing the answer. So it's nothing wrong if you say that I don't know the answer of this particular question. It's perfectly all right. But prove it that you were knowing, and that could be done by taking a chance. You can request for a chance and you can say that exact answer I may not be knowing, but if you allow me to try, I would like to answer it. So let the person know that you are very honest, you are very sincere. You did not write in your resume, I'm a person who is very honest, or I believe in honesty. That is not expected at all. So keep these things in your mind. So very quickly, when we talk about interview techniques, we have discussed dressing up smartly matters a lot. Your body language matters a lot. How do you present your resume? How do you answer those questions that are asked from your resume and even those that are not asked from your resume? Please prepare, practice, and then present. That is the reason why it is always stated that plan your interview. And how are you going to plan it? By conducting or by taking up the mock drills or mock interview sessions. So when you know what are the common questions and how to answer those common questions with a suitable answer, that will always help you. That will always create the right pace. It will always help you to set the right pace. And it will be helping you to reach up to the expectation of the interviewer. You should be competent enough in answering those questions, and also preparation matters a lot. Finally, whenever we are talking about interviews, many a times when the number of candidates are too many, they conduct job that is in order to eliminate the unwanted or not so desirable candidates. They conduct the group discussion. Whenever we are talking about group discussion, please remember these are the common tips which you should always keep in your mind whenever we talk about group discussion. If you are ready to begin, bingo, you have really hit the nail in the right place. In case the topic that is given, you don't know anything about it, be calm, don't lose your patience. Listen to the people, listen to the candidates, whosoever are saying. Jot down the important points, note down the relevant points. Try to look for certain facts and figures. Please remember, facts and figures matters a lot. Wait for your turn. Don't create a fish market or don't shout over your voice. Don't be too loud. Not only loud with your voice, also being loud with your body language will be one of the reasons for your elimination. So always remember, you should not be loud in your body language. You should be good. You should be disciplined. You should maintain the decorum, and you should always convey the points. Don't even say no to others' points. Many of the candidates, when they are appearing for the group discussion, they shout. They prove that whatever they are speaking is absolutely right, and others, if they are presenting anything, it is wrong. This is not the right way. You should always keep this in your mind. Show them how smart you are, and that is possible only when you are connecting the subject knowledge with the information that is being shared or discussed on the table by the other participants. Collect as many points as you can. In case if you haven't started, and if you are the last to end up or to conclude, take up all the important points, sum it up, and then do present your opinion to show them the team spirit. Be a good moderator. Say, for example, if you find that there is a person who did not get any chance, you can definitely ask the team members to have patience and allow the speakers and the non-speaker to present his or her opinion, so that the speakers, whosoever have spoken, they have already received their chance. It should be the turn of the non-speakers of or it should be the chance given to those people who did not get their chance or who did not think of speaking because they were scared. So you can ask certain questions. You can prove that you are a person. So for example, if you are really thinking about group discussion, it will help you to present. It will help you to show your three important skills. How do you solve the problems? Second, how do you work in team? And third, how well you are at communication skills. So please keep these common things in your mind, that group discussion matters a lot. So how are you going to moderate? How you encourage the team members? How do you present your thoughts? How do you connect your thought with the different information? And how do you connect certain important facts and figures matters a lot. So when we talk about uh, meetings, when we are talking about the present state, when if I'm talking about the situation which is happening these days due after COVID-19, we all are on virtual mode. Even the classes that is happening right now is online. So when we talk about virtual thing, keep these common points in your mind. Point number one, wherever you are sitting, the background should be clear. It should be professional and it should be distraction free. Second, screen ready. Prepare your screen beforehand. Don't include anything. Don't show up time and again in the form of video. Don't unmute your speaker time and again. When you are asked to show up, you should always remember you have to be in your formal attire. You should always be ready to show up even in the video form. Proper space should be designated. Avoid noise, avoid any kind of sound pollution. Prepare yourself and make a proper eye contact. If you are having the proper eye contact, even with the speaker virtually, people can understand about you, your body, with the help of eye contact. Speak clearly, concisely, and also slowly. You cannot be too fast, you cannot be rapid speed, or you cannot show to others that how good you are at speaking and how fast you can speak. That is not going to suffice your need, and that is not at all acceptable. So work out on your fluency whenever you are appearing or attending any kind of interviews virtually. Or as I have already said, the mute button should be always, the speaker should be in the mute button if it is required, if it is necessary, when the person is asking you, if the speaker, the person who is speaking or conveying wants to listen and wants to know something from your side, that is your opinion, only then you will be advised or requested to unmute your speaker. Be patient. Don't show that the time is ticking and time is passing by, and so therefore you are very impatient and you are very keen to speak. Have patience. Your turn, a turn is going to come. Always remember, more time given, it is good for you to prepare. It is good for you to think. It is good for you to ponder. And finally, don't be a multitasker. Many a times I have seen that when you are attending any of the virtual session, your laptop is with you and your hands are busy texting messages or looking onto the different websites or browsing some information or even checking your emails. Don't be a multitasker when you are attending any kind of virtual meeting. When I said virtual meeting, I mean even the interview, the meeting that is arranged between the interviewer and the interview. So when you keep these things in your point, automatically you will see that you are going to do wonders. That's all in today's class. When you are going to follow these common things, you will see that you are a person who is confident, who is well prepared, who knows what is an interview, and who can definitely get success after attending a couple of interviews. And before appearing for the main interviews, it is always advised to go for a mock drill, to go for a mock session, know about yourself. Where do you commit mistakes? What are the drawbacks that you are having? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are you going to talk about your strengths? How are you going to present your weakness? How are you going to talk about those achievements or accomplishments that you have achieved during the course of time? So what is your future plan? What is your future course of action? Everything should be well prepared, well planned. Of course, these are to be so well rehearsed, so well prepared, so well practiced that the interviewer should not at all get the sense that you have by hearted, that you have prepared, that you have practiced. But anyways, everybody knows that you have practiced, you were smart enough in taking up the challenge. So good luck to you all. Whenever you are attending any interview, keep these common things in your mind. Your resume matters a lot. Your personal appearance matters a lot. Group discussion matters a lot. The body language that you're going to carry matters a lot. How well you are going to present yourself. So, for example, if it is offline or online, how do you present yourself? All these matters a lot. When you follow these, when you do this, certainly you are achieving your set target and point. Take care of yourself.